We're switching it up a little today to mark Alchemy Virtual Assistants' 10th year in business. I'm not asking the questions today, I'm going to be answering them. And I'm joined today by a selection of Alchemy Virtual Assistants' remarkable franchise partners. I'm Suzy Sanders, I'm the host of Alchemy Virtual Assistants podcast, and I'm also the founder. And I will give you a warning. Because you're tuning into a conversation with four very strong, resilient, opinionated, good-humoured, passionate people who are very purpose and heart-led in a group conversation. What could go wrong? What could go wrong here today? And actually, I'm going to just introduce Laura, Laura Barley is Alchemy Virtual Assistants' very first franchise partner in Scotland. She's not our only, but she was the first one to launch the Alchemy brand in Scotland. And Laura, I'm so glad that you're here and you're agreed to do this. I mean, it's been a bit chaotic just getting to this point, but we're here, and thank you. And can I ask you to ask the first question?
Certainly, I'm delighted to. Obviously, you mentioned that we are just a small number of the franchisees heading up the hubs for Alchemy across the UK. We all come from different backgrounds, we're all different personalities, we've got different experience. Is there anything specific that you would say makes an ideal VA or an ideal hub manager for you? Or is there anything specific that you look for when you're speaking to potential franchisees?
Oh, that is such a good question to start with. I think if I speak to my experience there's a few things that I look for in initial conversations with potential franchise partners for Alchemy, and they tend to be mindset, resilience, passion, the things I mentioned before, adaptability, motivation driven. They tend to be the kind of more softer mindset, soft skills or mindset or approaches. Obviously there's a certain degree of skill set required, but for me the priority is in the kind of the passion and the person. And I think we've got a lot of that at Alchemy.
I agree.
But from I'll bring Lynsey into this part of the conversation if I may, because Lynsey, you're also based in Scotland, and you're a year into your journey, just other side of. And what are some of the qualities that you see in your peers and within Alchemy?
Yeah, I'm just a year in or just over a year. And something that I think is special within our team is the values that we all hold, and the want to help each other and work together. Even though we're all running our own businesses, we're not competitors, we're all part of the same team. We all help each other out and we all collaborate, share learning. And that's something that I truly value as a franchise partner. But yeah, I've lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
All good. It's all good. I love that you've touched on the values and the culture, if you like, because it's a really interesting dynamic, isn't it, in our franchise environment, that we are all running our own businesses, but we are doing it together. And I'm really proud of the values that we hold and express, and the culture and the community that we're fostering together as well. But I did say I wasn't going to ask questions today, and I've just asked you a question, Lynsey. So come on, hit me. Hit me up. What do you want to know?
Well, first of all, how many years ago did you establish this again? How many years ago was it?
It was 10.
10. So when you established this model 10 years ago, this franchise model, where did you see it going? Like, is where you are now where you envisaged your business would be and where Alchemy would be? Did you have a plan? Were you winging it? Did you think you'd have, like, how many franchise partners have we got now?
Wow, Lynsey, that's such a good question. That is such a good question, because you know me, I'm all about the self-reflection, I'm all about the vision. But actually, if I'm really honest, I couldn't have dreamed being where we are now back then. Like, I was terrified about paying the bills, having the right skills. I was so little faith that people would want what I could offer. And back then, I think if someone would have said, "Oh, here's a little snapshot of your life," I just couldn't have even dreamed it. So I think I've always been ambitious, always had big plans. But I couldn't have imagined Alchemy being what it is today back then. No way.
What was your target? How many had you targeted then? How many franchise partners had you targeted to get on board?
How many had we? Well, if you ask me that question and then you ask Paul that question, and Paul's obviously my husband and business partner, you'd get totally different answers, because Paul would be like, here's the numbers, here's what we need to do, here's the revenue, here's the blah, blah, blah. Whereas my target is quality over quantity. I would rather have a smaller number of the right people than that I can enjoy supporting and I can get behind and I can really, really believe in, versus, being spread too thin. So yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
And I know Laura looked like she'd got something to chip in then as well.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, sorry for interrupting. You were talking about your fears when you started the business of, paying the bills. Did you have the right skills? Not enough confidence. And obviously, I kind of support you with a bit of the recruitment process for the franchise partners, and that's always the potential franchise partners. That's always their fears as well. I know it was mine. Because you need to be able to pay the bills, and you need to have the right skills to do that. So it's really interesting, because I borrowed a bit of your belief, that I could do it and I would be able to pay my bills, and thank goodness I did. But so it's interesting to hear that you had those same fears.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. And I'm always chuckling silently to myself when people are like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I've got the money, or I'm not sure if the right skill. Like, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me." And I'm just like, "I hear you, I hear you." But actually, I really think we should bring Mel into this part of the conversation, because Mel is our franchise partner for Warrington, and at this moment in time, she's our newest.
Only just, yeah.
Only just.
Only just.
But Mel, I have the benefit of context here, but would you agree with that in terms of the fears?
Yeah, 100%. I've only been going a few months and I've already had several wobbles, and I've 100% leaned into Suzy about and really grateful for the fact that she shared all of her experiences when she was starting out, and made me feel a lot better about myself, and saying that it's
stories, Mel.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But it's a scary time, and obviously we all have our worries that we're not going to be able to bring in the money and find the clients and be able to pay the bills. But like Laura said, being able to borrow that belief from Suzy has just been a huge bonus to me. I think it's got me through the last couple of months, to be honest. So I'm very grateful.
Oh, thank you, Mel. And I'm grateful, because that's what I live for. That's what I live for. But come on then, I'm going to stop myself from asking another question. Mel, What would you like to ask?
Okay, the one I've literally thought of this morning. If you could name what has given you the most joy in the last 10 years, and what has been your biggest challenge?
Whoa, I love that you led with joy, Mel. I love
Yeah.
that you led with joy. Oh my goodness, my mind is racing back.
I know 10 years is quite a long time to cover.
10 years is quite a long time when I can't remember what I did last week. And I think Lynsey is your dog joining the conversation. I love that. I love that. What's brought me the greatest joy? It's gonna sound really corny, but I genuinely mean this. I think, on a personal perspective, being able to put my kids first has definitely given me the greatest joy. And when I say put them first, every parent does, but the being able to do the school runs and the school trips and not have to ask permission, like that level of flexibility gives me a lot of joy. But professionally, I think every time one of our new, or every franchise partner's first client, for sure, because that is such an incredible milestone. You know, when launch training is coming to an end, the doubts and the wobbles are starting to kick in, the support is still there, but getting less kind of intense. And that kind of first yes, that is the joy for me. And that hasn't like wavered over the years. And I think you asked about challenges.
Yeah, what's the biggest challenge?
I mean, there's been a ton.
Several.
There's been a ton. But I think my biggest challenge has been getting my head out of my arse and believing in myself. And you're smiling and nodding, so I'm guessing like that. Honestly, I think I've been my biggest challenge, and I still remain to be getting that my thought processes, my beliefs, getting everything kind of ramped up to take the next steps. That's definitely an ongoing challenge.
That's interesting, because I do not see that side to you at all.
Really? Do you know what? Perceptions, honestly.
There you go.
I am such a chronic overthinker, and yeah, that doubt is always there in some capacity for me. So yeah. Interesting. What's your perception then, Lynsey?
You just seem to be the one that holds us all together, so I just thought you had it all under control up there.
Oh, well, thank you, because that's kind of, yeah, that's what the reality, isn't it? But I think, you know, we're all human, aren't we? Even, yeah. I think we're all human, and even the big shot CEOs and the massive celebrities and influencers, they're human too. Like business leaders, I think everybody has an element of getting in their own way and doubting themselves, right? Especially when you really are evolving and growing and getting uncomfortable. Like, I think it's only natural.
Yeah, I always find it interesting when you're like listening to a podcast or something, and it's a celebrity, and they're talking about their imposter syndrome and what they've experienced, and you just think, wow, actually everybody goes through it.
Yeah, and I think I don't think we have had a podcast episode where social media hasn't come up, but I think social media feeds that a lot, doesn't it? Because there's so much noise.
Yeah.
And this is relevant because this is something I've always been really conscious of to navigate ethically in promoting Alchemy and attracting new franchise partners to come and join us. Whilst we have a proven, profitable, repeatable business model, we know it works.
Yeah.
There's so much noise about there. How I bought my Ferrari in 6 seconds, and there's so much noise out there, and people putting their highlights out there, and I think that kicks up a lot for us internally, doesn't it? And with the marketing, I've always tried really hard to make sure that we're responsible in what we're saying as well, and we're not promising people that they'll quit their job in 6 minutes and be bringing in 6 figures, and there's so much out there, and I think that I still don't know if I've kept Alchemy a bit small, not being a bit more forceful with our marketing, but I'm sitting here with pretty remarkable people who saw the values, the benefits, borrowed the belief, and made it happen. So here we are.
I don't think people. Well, I think people see through the non-real life stuff that people post now. And if you're promising the world and you can't deliver that, then people see that it's BS. So I don't think that does anyone any favors.
Yeah, and I think, I need to get better at spotting AI as well. Like some of the AI content, I saw something the other day and Paul's like, Suzy, that's not real. I was like, oh, I'm so excited about it. I can't remember what it was now. But I think you're right, Laura. I think you're right. What else? Who's up next? This is so strange for me.
I know, I never ask you questions, and I hate being asked questions, so it's quite nice to put you on the spot for a change. I was just going to say, what do you think is the key thing from a VA point of view that would make us succeed? What do you think is the key thing?
to Alchemy's
to succeed.
success.
Yeah.
The key, if I'm thinking about Alchemy as a whole, it's people. The franchise partners we have, the quality.
What for the franchise partners? What do you think is the key thing for them to run a successful business?
Just one thing.
Or things.
I think it is the ability to adapt. I think it is the ability to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and a real natural curiosity, and that ability then drive to learn, like not that complacent thinking of like, oh, I know it all, or always learning. I think those kind of things, and obviously a laptop, sensible connection, lots of coffee. I don't know. I feel I've missed so much there, because it's a great question, Lynsey, and it takes a lot. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, constantly striving to learn. It's a constant learning journey. I think when I started on this learning journey, I'm an ex-EA, so I had the skill set, but the running the business skill set is a completely different thing. And then there's just the constant, learning. The business moves, you need to move with it. AI comes in. I see a lot of people talking about, oh, I'd like to become a VA, or how can I get one of these VA jobs and stuff like that. And I don't think people realize how much goes into it. You're running your own business as well. You're not just helping somebody run theirs. You've got to have both hats.
Definitely. I'm so glad you've mentioned that, Lynsey. And I'm going to jump over to Mel in a minute, because I could see her nodding with what you were saying. And this has always been the case. Like, whilst Alchemy's been around for 10 years, there's always been there's a lot of people that think, oh, I could work from home. And there's some like rose tinted glasses on about actually what being a VA means. And there's no judgment there at all, but it does take a lot. You are running a business at the end of the day. Would you agree, Mel? You look like you were, and I know you've got past experiences as well within business. So
yeah. I tinkered with being a VA about 10 years ago. My kids were really little, like toddlers, and but at that point it was very different, because VAs weren't really a thing at that point. So I think I did a lot of kind of sort of just typing and stuff like that for people. But I also found it, because it was just me on my own, I found it so hard to market it, to know what I was doing, to get the message out there. And also social media wasn't as big then as it was, so it was literally doing leaflets and going around to business parks and it was a totally different thing. But I think these days, 10 years on, obviously, and being part of a franchise, it's totally opened up the world to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's someone like, you have a support team. This is incredible. You have people to talk to and ask questions. I love it. But also it's changed so much in that 10 years, and VAs seem to be that there is a lot of VAs out there, but I think there's different degrees of VAs. There's VAs who will literally just type stuff for like £15 an hour or something. And then there's a VA that is actually your assistant, which is more where we sit, and someone who actually cares about the business that they're doing. And I know a lot of people tend to think that VAs are like the overseas VAs, where they'll just like, you chuck them a piece of work, they'll do it and chuck it back, and it's very, very cheap and cheerful. But I think there's a difference between what we do and that kind of VA, if you see what I mean. And I think getting the message out there of what a VA is quite hard sometimes.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Mel, because, looking back over the past 10 years, like when I started out, no one really knew what a VA was. It was a kind of an unusual concept, that there was a lot of education that was required, versus now people want VAs. They know what they are, they see the value. But actually, in that growth of the number of VAs there's huge growth in the number of businesses and individuals that want to access that support as well. So I think now it's a lot easier, because people are like, oh, you're a virtual assistant. Okay, I know about that. or people are actively aspiring to have virtual assistants, and the industry's broad, as you say. Like there's a whole spectrum from, and even in corporate employed world, you'd have admin assistants all the way up to kind of executive assistants and chief of staff. Like that, admin in itself, assistants in themselves it's a broad spectrum, isn't it? And you're right, it's about an alignment of need, qualities, skills. Even there's lots more tech VAs popping up naturally now as well. So yeah, I'm going to stop myself from asking another question, because I was just going to ask Laura what, as in this room, you're our kind of longest serving franchise partner, and I know you've renewed into your second term, which I'm absolutely delighted about. But you must have seen some of those shifts in your time.
Yeah, definitely. When I started, it was mainly, that would be 5 years ago. It was mainly kind of PA duties that I was doing. Just your standard scheduling meetings, managing inboxes, booking travel, that kind of thing. Now, most people I speak to are looking for some kind of marketing support, something to do with their websites. So, fortunately, I've kind of built my team around those requirements, and have two very skillful people who can help, because I am clueless. So yeah, it's always that thing, isn't it, where you employ people who are better than you. So so yeah, that's how we're trying to kind of keep up to date. But I'm aware that I'm not using AI to its fullest. There's probably a lot of things that I should be implementing, and that's something that I need to work on for sure.
Yeah, you and me, but I mean, I think that's a collective feeling, isn't it? Because I was having this conversation with someone recently, and it's like, by the time you've invested in training, because I was looking at enhancing our training within Alchemy, and then it's just like, well, actually, by the time you've invested in the training, the tech's evolved.
Yeah.
So how like, it's finding that balance, isn't it? And I think this just draws back to Lynsey's great question earlier about kind of, for me at Alchemy, that adaptability and that willingness to learn and think, not winging it to a degree, but being able to think on your feet is imperative, isn't it? To be able to navigate all of these little pockets.
Yeah,
Come on then. We've got a few more minutes before we wrap this episode. And this is tough because normally, well, we all like a chat, don't we? But you guys can ask me anything.
Okay, I can go. I would like to know how you personally have changed in the last 10 years.
Ooh.
Great question. A lot. I had to stop myself from swearing there.
It's not like you.
Which is not like me. So I'm probably going to swear anyway. How have I changed? I've changed enormously in ways that, again, I wouldn't have even imagined. When I started Alchemy, I was pretty miserable. I was rock bottom. I was still coming to terms with the fact that I'd got postnatal depression. I was not sleeping. I was a broken shell of a woman. And I've built I'm not going to cry, but Alchemy's built me. Alchemy's built me, and it's changed me in ways that I didn't know I needed. And change and growth is never comfortable, as we know. But I think, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, that starting a business is the best personal development you'll ever invest in, because it exposes parts of you didn't know you needed to look at, and it kicks up things that, so many times over the past few years in particular, I thought I dealt with this little internal issue that was causing me problems, and here we are again. But I think, I'm at the point in life now where I've got 2 young kids. I'm in my 40s. I'm actually really proud of who I am, and that for me is huge when I think back to that. And Alchemy's been a significant part of that, giving me the opportunity to meet incredible people and to stretch my skill set and to fuck up, because I do that a lot, and then to learn from it. And I just, I've changed enormously. Oh, I'm probably going to cry today. I promised myself I wouldn't. I'm
Is it
still
a proper
emotional.
alchemy discussion if one of us doesn't cry?
And it's usually me that starts. But that was such a great question, Laura. Thank you. Mel, have you got something to follow that?
Just, you sort of answered it earlier, but just sort of say, how big do you want Alchemy to get? Are you? I know you said that if you asked Paul, it would be different, but to what you would say. But how much do you want to grow the franchises, do you think?
Oh,
over the next 10 years, say.
Over the next 10 years, great question. And I think my original answer, I think, is true, because I have grand ambitions. Because the more we grow, the more positive influence we can have, the more goodness we can put back. So I do have big vision and plans for Alchemy, but not a way that's going to be detrimental. I think, to me or to anyone else. And I think we have got such potential, but we've got to be careful that I don't want anything being stretched too thin. I don't want the quality that our clients receive from us to waver. I don't want the support that you guys are given from Alchemy. I don't want to sacrifice my joy. I've done that a lot over the years, and I don't want to sacrifice my joy anymore. So I feel like that was a bit of a long-winded answer to your question, Mel.
It was good.
Big plans, but we're not risking any damage.
Good. Excellent.
Okay, well, I am going to steer us towards the end of this conversation. I have been very uncomfortable receiving questions today, but I have loved it. I have loved it. And Laura's right, is it even an alchemy gathering if someone doesn't cry? But actually, it's given me a really beautiful opportunity for reflection, and I do really appreciate it. I feel like we need to share some. I know what we'll do to share some wisdom. Share some wisdom to close this episode, because we have been talking about alchemy, honouring the fact that we've made it to 10 years. What, Laura Barley, do you hope the next 10 years brings? One word.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Mel?
Contentment.
Lynsey?
Personal development. Sorry, the dog like that.
The dog agrees. And I think for me, it's got to be joy, but it's also got to be a bit of curiosity as well, because curiosity's definitely got me here. So, ladies, Laura, Lynsey, Mel, thank you for making me uncomfortable today and for the brilliant questions. And we'll obviously make sure links are in, because if anyone wants to connect with you or discover actually what virtual assistant support for their business could mean and look like, we'll make sure that those links are available. And for you listening, watching, reading, I really do appreciate you enjoying this conversation with us as well. I don't think too much went wrong, did it? We'll find out. You let me know. But let me know what resonates with you. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you soon.